Hey guys, and welcome back to another VOD review. Today we are going to be doing a VOD review of Selenotrophism, who you guys might recognize from the Discord, who is playing on this account today, WantonWanion. So let's hop in and see how they do. It is going to be starting on defense Gibraltar.
Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming. Stop the payload.
Now, hold on. Hey there. I need a doctor. Don't move.
Nice. So no one has contested the card yet, so they're just okay, and you get caught out free push. So they are just free pushing. So I think one little thing.
I need a doctor.
Okay, so here, target prioritization is important, right? When you're playing DPS, especially hit scan DPS, when you have agency at these distances. In this situation, out of these 4 people who are visible to you, who should you be shooting first? Who do you think should be shooting first? You should be shooting first. You're shooting the Sigma right now, which a lot of people will go that route simply because they're just gonna shoot at the biggest target that's available to them because it's easiest to hit the shots. But that's the lazy way out, right? That's autopiloting. That's just picking the easiest thing to do and doing it. Here, you should be shooting. You should be looking at these two and saying, oh, I have a great opportunity here to kill one of these supports. Now, which support do you go for? If you start shooting the Ana, right, it's a lot easier for the Mercy to just turn around and put the beam on Ana and make it so that she's pretty much impossible to kill. Whereas if you shoot the Mercy, it's a lot harder for the Ana to, like, the Ana's gonna have to actually aim and turn around and shoot her, right, if she even realizes that her Mercy's under attack. Most Anas are going to just this Ana could be lazy and just throw a nade at the Mercy, and then you've gotten value out of that. Just by pressuring the Mercy, you've already forced one of the most powerful cooldowns in their team, right? In a sort of less than ideal situation. So this is the opportunity. This is the target here that you should be shooting at here. And they're exposed long enough that you could have easily put 2 shots on either of the supports, which if they were headshots, you would have killed them. I think it's a slightly missed opportunity, because you did shoot the Sigma like 3-4 times. So no one has contested the cart. When the cart gets to right where it is right now is when you guys need to drop. Okay? Now, no one on your team has dropped. And okay, so Gibraltar is, like, every map has its unique idiosyncrasies, right? But Gibraltar has its own rules. So there's a certain way that this map is supposed to be played, and you just have to learn that. And if you don't learn it, then you're just not going to have a good time playing this map. You're just going to spend most of your time losing really bad games, and then you're not gonna be able to realize why you're losing these games exactly. So here, when the cart gets to the underground, like starts coming out of the tunnel, is when you guys need to already be dropped and in position to start contesting this, right? So, like, you, Hanzo, can be up here, like Ana should be back here, right? Ana and Brig, and the tanks need to be positioned, you know, like Monkey can be up here because he has vertical mobility. Hog should really just be like somewhere, maybe in like this room, or controlling here, in case, like, to control these 2 chokes here, and just to put pressure on the cart here. But no one is in position to do that. which is not entirely your fault, but you are also out of position here too, because look at where you are. Your hog is, I don't know what the fuck your hog is doing, but you are very out of position here, because look at this. If you had already been up here, like say you were up here, think of all the pressure you could be putting on them right now as McCree, but that's missing. And then you choose to go into the mega room. I think it would have been better for you to control this high ground. So these two high grounds, this blue box and this blue tarp, are pivotal in holding A. And it's a lot harder, like especially because they're running double shield. There's nothing that can contest you up here other than their Hanzo and maybe their Doomfist, but their Doomfist is gonna have to use cooldowns to get up there, right? So he's really uncomfortable coming up here to challenge you, because he has to use one of his cooldowns to get up here. Whether he does like a rollout punch and like manages to get up here, or whether he uses uppercut, he's gonna have to use one of his cooldowns to get up here. So he doesn't want to fight here. The Hanzo, it would be suicide if he wall climbed up here against, you know, you, Brig, Hanzo, and Winston. So he's just gonna stay down there and poke at you, which you can, you know, you can use cover and dodge that. And the two tanks really, there's nothing they can do. Like they can spam at you, but that's about it. So you being up here poses is like a really major thorn in their side for them. But both you and your Hanzo, instead of going up there, are over here. And unfortunately you will get caught out, so now it's a 5v6. The Brig drops to contest because she has no choice. The Brig really should not be the one contesting. There's your monkey, but your Brig already dies. She had to contest. Your hog shows up super late to the party and you guys lose cap. Okay, so here, one thing that you need to be doing. Okay, so yeah, this is a huge mistake. This is a huge mistake. In the situations where you're being where the enemy is going to cap and you're spawning on A spawn, you cannot come out the right door. Okay, so I can guarantee you guys are gonna get staggered here and you're gonna lose B really quickly. I already know this is gonna happen. You want to know why? And I haven't watched this replay. The reason I know this is because that's just how this map plays out. So when you spawned, in this situation you need to go out the left spawn door and back out as quickly as you can for the full regroup. If you do not do that, you will get steamrolled. You will get snowballed through B every single time. Every single time. I promise you this will happen every single time. And then the same applies for B spawn as well. If their enemy is about to cap this or is in the process of capping it and you're spawning here, you are going to get spawn camped. So you need to come out the left. You need to swap to something fast. Okay, so you need to swap to like Soldier, Tracer, Echo, whatever you need, and then come out here and get the fuck out. And if you want to swap back, then you just go over here and you swap back in C spawn. Otherwise you will get staggered. So that's just part of playing this map. That's just how this map plays. And it's just something you have to learn and take into consideration. Yeah, and you and Ana are both going to stagger. Sorry, Ana just dies. And you die. And now they get free cart pushed all the way to halfway up to here by the time you're back. So can you see the mistake? Like you coming out here and putting, you know, a couple shots on them as the door starts to open does not provide any value whatsoever, right? So this is a 2v6. It's an unwinnable situation, and your hog just died. So right now you need to be preventing the stack. That little thing right there, a little artifact. Okay, yeah. So you need to be preventing the stagger by hard backing and grouping, because your hog is going to get. Your hog is going to spawn here in 12 seconds, okay? Which means that is a long time, right? Like you're not gonna get grouped for a very long time. By the time those 12 seconds are up, cart's gonna be here. By the time your hog gets here, it's gonna be here. Now you two getting staggered here is going to draw that out even further. And so I can already tell you're gonna get rolled through B. And look at that, yeah, the enemy team's taking high ground.
Hey there.
And what did I tell you? I said by the time you get back, the cart's gonna be halfway through B, right? And that's exactly where it is. Now you trade. And let's see what happens here. Your tanks really just do not want to contest the payload for whatever reason. Your positioning here is fine, you just need to be cognizant of the Hanzo. Wow, yeah, okay, so they're just gonna steamroll B.
We're all.
And you do swap to soldier, whether that's intentional because you know you're gonna get spawn camped if you're Kree, or if that was just a choice, you just decided that you wanted to play soldier here. I'm not sure, but this is the call. And see, look at that. You barely got out. You dropped down to 90 HP. So even with that swap, so soldier and tracer can get out. Everyone else dies here, or an echo can get out too, because echo can just fly directly over this. Yeah. So that's just part of playing Gibraltar that you just have to learn. And like if you had spawned Kree here, like think about it. Like you would die right here, right? You would be like right here, and you would die. And then they get free card push halfway through C as well, and basically the entire game is spent snowballing and getting force staggered, and that's why a lot of people don't like this map. Yeah, it's. I mean, in part, yes, it is due to the map design, but really it's because people don't understand how to play it. Because there are a lot of other maps in the pool where this sort of thing is.
Come here and get stabilized.
Like it's the same situation as well. So here, I think you should go up and control high ground, which is exactly what you do. Spent a good amount of time shooting his shield. He's coming for you. Okay. That's inexcusable. Like you soldier should never be hit by Doomfist ults. Like literally, you can be standing in the center of Doomfist ult, and you can start sprinting when you see the circle, and you can be out of the circle by the time he lands. That's how fast you are, which means you have no excuse to be getting hit by that.
Meteor strike.
Yeah, you're focused on shooting someone else, and so you don't realize this is happening. You need to play in the middle here, so that when he does come down, you can run in either direction. Because yeah, and this was absolutely dodgeable. You tried to go off. Just a heads up, the way Doomfist damage works is that it's actually like a cylinder, and this inner circle is this max damage, and when like from Doomfist POV, you see that circle widen. That's the area that his max damage is increasing to. So over time, the area becomes bigger. So so you need to, like, it's a cylinder, so even if you're in mid-air, like not touching the ground, it will still harm you. Like even in fact, even if you were standing under right here, it would still hurt you as long as you're within the circle. Like it's just imagine it like a really, really tall cylinder. So that's unfortunate. Yeah, that Doom is getting damage boosted for that slam and uppercut. And you guys are just gonna get rolled through C as well. Most likely. So you can pull some really clutch here. Okay, I don't know what that.
You got what's coming to you. Down for the count.
Very nice. Okay, good. So you actually were instrumental in turning that around. So good play there. I do think there's a lot. I'm seeing a lot of like frivolous usage of your cooldowns though, which on Tracer is like you do not want. You want maximum efficiency. Every single blink, every single recall should be like perfectly executed to the point that you're getting like the most value out of it. Because otherwise, if you're not min-maxing Tracer, you're really, really losing a lot of her value. For example, where is actually. So why that blink? That no one is even like when you're shooting that Ana, no one like you're not in you've got hard cover from the Hanzo, right? Which and he probably isn't even like like he's not in a position to shoot you. None of their tanks are aware. The Doomfist is God knows where. Mercy's over there. Like the only one who realizes where you even are is the Ana, and she didn't even turn to look at you, right? So the threat of us, so she has to be looking at you to lob her sleep or her nade at you. The nade doesn't matter because you can recall. Sleep does matter because then you die. But you didn't need to, yeah, like this blink to the here, I think was unnecessary. And then this recall is unnecessary. Why the recall there? You're at full HP. Right? So she nanos the Hanzo to keep him alive. This recall doesn't do you anything. I guess you're afraid that he might one-shot you with an arrow, right? Which is totally possible. But I mean, if you recall, I mean, if this Hanzo was smart, he should know exactly where you were, like 3 seconds ago or whatever the duration of the recall is, and he can just put an arrow right there and kill you coming on a recall. So this is actually something that if this Hanzo was you're relying on our Hanzo on the enemy Hanzo to make a mistake rather than your own skill, because this recall actually puts you in a worse situation for him to one-shot you with that arrow than if you had just AD spammed and blinked and kept using your blinks to dodge. So I think that's a bit of a mistake there. Speeding.
You got what's coming to you.
Shove pushing the supports.
Down for the count.
Jump ender, back line goes down, and we have.
I'm on fire.
So again, a lot of like you use 2 blinks and your recall to fight that Mercy, which I don't mind specifically because it's the last person alive. But it's just one of those things where, like, if it's not the last person alive, you should not be doing that. And here, I don't know if you're AFK or what, but your team is fighting and they're engaged, so you need to be in the fight with them. Okay, 2 people walk into this stuck supercharger. It's really nice. You are going to get hit by that. Oh, okay. Yeah, so again, like, why that one little blink? You just blinked from where you were in the doorway to here, which doesn't serve any purpose. I'm just seeing like a lot of like extraneous cooldown usage, which you really cannot be doing on Tracer. Like, you need to be using every blink specifically for something. Again, I don't like this blink. The blink doesn't put you in a good spot. And then here, so one of the just like the basic texts with Tracer when you're dueling someone. Oh god, that's really annoying. Okay, so yeah, so and this works best for people like McCree, Hanzo, Soldier, you know, all those kinds of heroes. So what you want to do is do a 180 blink and blink behind them, right? And then shoot them, and then when they turn, you 180 blink again to the other side. And they have to turn again. And basically what that does is it just basically makes it almost impossible for them to hit you. If you just stand in front of someone, yeah, I mean, they are going to hit you eventually. Right, like it's done. These people aren't like complete trash. And as you go up in rank, like that's gonna become more and more like, you know, like that Hanzo's gonna hit you even sooner than he did, etc, etc. So you're staying on Tracer. So I get that you came out to recontest this Tracer and you kind of popped off, right? Like you got that 3k and you held, and then you got the sticky and you won another team fight, and like that's great. But you can't let that. I think it's a mistake here to stay on Tracer, just because look at your team comp here. This is not a team comp that enables Tracer in any which way. Also, look at the you're on point C Gibraltar, right? Like Tracer works well in environments where she can take tons of flanks, and then there's nice open geometry, like, well, not open, but like relatively flat geometry, not too much like vertical geometry, and like, you know, like things like control point maps and like you know, like Tracer, like think about it, like is Tracer played on King's Row? Not really, right? Because it's very linear, right? It's very structured. There's not really many flanks you can take. It's hard to get behind the enemy team, and even when you are behind the enemy team, it's like there's only two directions that they can look. There's forward and there's backward, right? So this plays out kind of like that, where there's not really that much space for you to work with as Tracer. So I think you would have gotten a lot more value swapping to like Ashe, just sitting up here, or like McCree and playing Poke with the rest of your team. Because, you know, Ryan, Sig, McCree, Torb is like an actual team comp. But let's see. So you're gonna have to do some. You're gonna have to like pull some miracles to get value out of Tracer here. Like you're gonna have to be doing what you did in the previous two team fights, every team fight, pretty much, if you want to get value out of Tracer. And again, taking this high ground as Tracer serves you no value. So this is like one of the few heroes where I'd be like, normally I'd be like, yeah, take high ground. This is good. This doesn't matter because this is outside. One, it's outside your effective range, right? And two, any engagement that you start from here, you're going to have to use multiple blinks to get up to a range where you can do anything. So it would, as Tracer, it would be better for you to be up here, right? So this is a lot harder for them to get you. Like it's a lot more annoying for the enemy team to dislodge you. You can even play over here, which I'm sure there's some Tracer tech that you can utilize to get up here, but even just controlling over here can be annoying. You can even play back here if you want. Just make it really annoying for the enemy team, because you know they're gonna have to make a decision of whether they want to just push and leave you back there, or whether they want to get rid of you as a team before they start pushing. You being here doesn't provide much value. So the team wastes Flux. They're using Nano. Yeah, and see, like you're not really providing much value being here, and you died to the Mercy. Like the Ashe got the final blow, but let's be real, you died to the Mercy walk. So in this situation, if you're going to play Tracer, the most value that you provide as Tracer is card contest. So like in the fight, make it so that the enemy team cannot get any card push. So like back here. Right here, right here, right here. Look how far back that card is right now. Right, they nanoed. This dude is getting burned by the Torb ult and has to play in here. Ashe is all the way back there. Okay, so in this situation, so I get that you're getting shot at by a Walking Mercy, just ignore her. You're not gonna, it's virtually impossible that, it's extremely unlikely that you're gonna kill her. First thing on your mind is you need to displace this Ashe, because this is a really, really good position for her. So whether it takes 2 blinks or whatever, or like whether you want to take the flank to get up here, you first and foremost need to contest this. Once you get rid of her, you need to be contesting cart here. In fact, I think it might even be worth it to contest cart even with Ashe up there, as in like just play cover, because there's plenty of cover you can play, you know, and you can stay around here and contest the cart. And what that does is it makes this entire team fight useless with enemy team. Like, what does it matter if they kill your tank line if the cart is not pushing? Your tanks just come right back. They spawn right here. Look at the stash even drops. Yeah. And here, like, they're about to cap, you know, so like
Someone called the
card contests should really have been the first thing on your mind. I think you got a little bit tunnel visioned on fighting the Valkyrie Mercy.
Score.
Okay, but not a bad hold considering you guys had like 5.5 minutes on the clock, and you cut that down at 2:45. Not too bad.
Initiate. Ready for battle. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Attackers incoming.
Got you good at
Again, some kind of weird usage of your cooldowns. I don't know why you're about to use the lamp there. And again, you just did this tiny little sideways blink. Yeah, and one thing I really think you gotta start incorporating into your toolkit of Tracer play is that 180 blink tech, because this is the perfect kind of situation where this would have come in handy. Like, the Mercy actually drops for the Hanzo, so I don't think it would have mattered. But yeah, like here, you don't want to be fighting a Han. Like, this dude can easily turn on Storm Arrow and just delete you. What you want to do is use your 180 blink and blink right behind him right here. Blink melee, right? Melee animation cancel with the blink. Takes 30 damage. You clip him, right? And when he turns, if you haven't one clipped him, by the time he turns, just do it again and then finish him off. And in fact, I think you would have had time to do it before the Mercy even reacted. Oh yeah, you absolutely had time. Because the Mercy just puts the beam on him. If you had been, instead of doing that little sideways blink, if you had gone behind him and just emptied the rest of your clip into him, and then melee, he would have died there. So now this time you try to take the side run. This is good because there's enemy players up here that you want to displace. Unfortunately, you take one shot from the Ana and you leave. Get it. Okay. Oh, the Ana drops, so that's good for you. Okay, and then so I get that probably caught you by surprise, but this is another example where the 180 blink would have saved your life and possibly allowed you to kill the Doomfist there. Right, so you've got a blink. Yeah, so you've got one blink charge. And you see this? Your immediate instinct for every duel against, like, 1v1 duel against the DPS is just blink behind him. Blink right here. Blink right here, smack him and shoot him. Put your first clip into him, right? And then he's gonna turn around, and depending on, you know, what mouse sensitivity, like if you're playing against like Kree and shit, a lot of times people aren't even good enough to turn around and then turn around again. They don't have the space for it. They're gonna turn around like this once, and then when you blink again, they're gonna be like, oh crap, and then they're really gonna struggle in turning around again. So yeah, like right here, just blink right here. He misses his punch, right? He punches over there, and then you just finish him off. And this is something that it's just pretty much should become almost like just like habitual, like just instinctual. Okay, good. Now you're down your main heals. Oh, and you missed like, and again, this is where the 180 blink. Okay. This is a great flank, right? But see, I already think that first blink was a mistake. Why do that blink? You're going from here to here. Does that really do anything for you that you couldn't have done while just walking directly at her? Right? And like, it's the same concept where if she's looking at you and you blink from there to there, that's like what, 15 degrees of turning that she has to do? Whereas if you had just walked up here and then blinked behind her, right? then she has to do a 180, and she doesn't know exactly where you are behind her, right? So she's gonna have to, so she can't just like, if she 180 like flick sleeps, like there's gonna be an element of luck to whether she hits you or not. Alternatively, she's gonna have to turn around, wait to see where you are, and then try to sleep you. At which point you can literally just do the exact same thing again and then just dodge it, right? So that's how you should be playing Tracer in these kinds of little mini duels that you have. This is really low value blink, and because of that, you don't have any further blinks,
Much better.
and you get slept. Actually, here you had one, so you could have actually just dodged that sleep by blinking to the other side of the room as well. There's a lot of dying going on here. Like this is a pretty high number of deaths for playing on Tracer.
Back to earth.
We can't let the payload just sit there.
Regen up.
I think this is. Well, actually, okay. You know the Doom has ult, so yeah, so probably better to not pulse him. I was gonna say this is a pretty good opportunity to just stick him.
Let's try that again.
Meteor strike.
Hiya.
Okay. Good kill from the team. Unfortunately, your monkey was in when you guys did that, so he dies. So you're down a main tank for the Doomfist. He had Primal too. He really should have just popped the Primal. Like, you could pop Primal, and then at the end of it, you nano him when he comes out, and you just win this.
Let them up.
I don't know if that recall was really necessary. I think when you did the blink, he was already discombobulated enough that he wasn't gonna get you. Like, this is good. This is good. You dodged the slam, which is important. And then here, like this blink, I think when you blinked over here, you didn't need to recall. You could have just sprayed him a little bit more, because he was kind of looking over it. He was looking over here because he was still turning. Right, so if you just blink over here and spray him, I don't think you need to invest the recall in that. But hey, you played it safe, you got him, that's what counts.
I'm
nice.
on.
60 seconds remaining.
Okay, so I do think there was some missed opportunity here. Oh, actually, okay, never mind. The payload's far back enough that it doesn't matter. Yeah, so in this kind of situation, you guys just want to position yourselves well for when they, if or when they try to retest. Which, your monkey's in position, that's fine. Good follow-up. Okay, so here, you're in the opposite side of the situation that I described, where your team is about to cap and they're gonna spawn here, right? So who did you just kill? You killed. So Hanzo's gonna get the B spawn because you killed him late enough. But look at this. There's two players that are getting A spawn still, right? So your mind here should already be, how am I gonna spawn camp these two fuckers? Because there's people coming out of here, and they're dumb and they're coming out right side just like you did. Right, so if they came out here right now, there's nothing you can do. They're grouped, right? There's enough of them that they're grouped. But here, oh, you're not even aware. You're going after Hog. There's two people coming on a spawn. Like this person, you just burn their bubble with your like with one clip, and then you stick them and you wave goodbye. I don't think you're actually aware that there's two people spawning behind you. Okay, you are now. That doing almost hits the hog. Nice stick on the target. Okay, so you do clean them up eventually, but like, do you see what I mean about how much easier that could have been? Like, if you just stand, if you're like already ready for it, like if you're mentally prepared for it, right? Like you blink up, spray her bubble out on the way down, stick her, recall, say goodbye. and then when the Doom comes out, you just do your thing and delete him. That's risky. You don't know if she has sleep or. Yeah, you're more in face of it. So. No. These two just stopped healing their Doomfist for some reason. The Doomfist could have gotten out there. Okay, but in any case, because that team did exactly what you did. Look at this. Look at that. Free card push for half of B. And now they're finally grouping. They're fine. Like with how late that Doomfist died, they're gonna get one recontest at the end of B, and that's the only fight that they're gonna have for that entire point. Now you are down. You're free here. Again, why? Okay. Like, one of the most important things with Tracer is knowing when to go in, right? And I think it's good that you're waiting for an opportunity, but in some of these moments you're waiting too long. 'Cause like here, you're both, one of your tanks is dead and the other one is almost dead. It's your window of opportunity has lapsed. You don't have an opportunity here anymore. Like, even if you killed someone here, you don't win this. Yeah, I think you just waited in that stairwell just a little bit too long. Oh no, that's going up for you.
Get here. There we go. Hi.
Okay, and this is fine. This is absolutely fine. Every second that she's standing there looking at you is every second that she's not in the fight. Contributing. Okay, so here your team is fighting. You can see that, right? Oh, and the Ana actually. Okay, so you know that the Ana has gone back in. So okay, so right now what you need to be thinking is, I need to get in the fight because my team is fighting. What was once a 5v5 is now a 6v5 with the Ana going back into the fight. And you're still doing the. Okay, this is a pretty big mistake. Yeah, this is. Okay, so you just heard your monkey ult. You committed both tank ults. I can already tell you guys are gonna lose this fight. You wanna know why? It's because your team effectively fought us a 5v6 for the entirety of this fight. Why aren't you shooting the Ana? Okay, you do get her, but you die for it. I don't think you needed to die for that. I think right here. Right here. First, I don't know why you didn't just turn immediately. It's. I don't know if it's like your mouse sense or something, but yeah. Okay, so here, just shoot the Ana. Shoot the Ana and blink away. Like if you just go like and then just blink, like I don't know, like over here. That Zarya doesn't kill you, I think. Yeah, you have the blink. Just finish her and get out. Oh, you blink back in. Oh, okay. Yeah, so again, this is really extraneous usage of the blinks. Like, you don't need to be blinking from here to here to finish that Ana. Just stand here, 80, crouch spam, dodge shit, right? Which, like, you don't even need to because it's a beam. It's a beam. She just has to put it on your hitbox anywhere. So you don't have to, so you literally just stand still. It's not like she's doing any more damage to you from you just standing still. And then you just put like 3 bullets in Ana's face and then you just blink away. Yeah, I think you really got to manage your cooldowns a lot better. Your blink usage and your recall usage. Or let's just say there's room for better usage. Overall, I think you are doing pretty well on Chaser. But I think there's definitely like, if you want to play like Tracer at like 100% efficiency, this is like, I don't know, maybe like 60% or less efficiency. Nice. He's speeding. Please tell me we get him. Oh my god, he gets out. Okay. That's a little weird.
Seconds remaining.
I really think you can finish those kills if you just use your guns properly. Yeah, like here, blink into the doorway and just finish him. Oh, you would try, but it was just a little bit too late. You know, if it comes out.
30 seconds.
Again, what is this blink? Like, a lot of these blinks are just like,
30 seconds.
that blink was useless, right? I think you literally could have just like, you're not using the blink to actively dodge anything, so there's no point doing it, right? So you could just stand here and shoot this Hanzo, and then I would have blinked forward in 180 like this, so I can actually see what the Hog is doing, because the Hog is the Hog can hook you, right? And then finish the Hanzo, and then blink out from there. Let's actually watch this in like speed. That recoil's fine. I don't know what that blink does for you.
Bombs away.
Like, in fact, even this recall, I think you actually don't need it, because you got naded. So if you can achieve what you want to do with the recall by blinking, then just use the blink, because the blink is a 2-second cooldown and recall is a 13-second cooldown, right? So I think you could have blinked out easily. I think you could have blinked out that way. I think you could have blinked into like over here and then run up the stairwell, and then that forces their tanks to either like chase you or, you know, and then this blink doesn't really do much for you. Like this blink doesn't do anything that you couldn't have done just walking closer and then like say like blinking over here, right? Like this, you're not really in like what is blinking to right here do for you? There's still a high charge Zarya behind you. You're not really in LOS of anything. You can't pulse anything. Like it doesn't achieve anything. So you have to blink a second time to get to where you want to pulse, which I think you could have achieved with one.
Watch your back. Oh, excuse me.
And then again that blink. Sorry. So here, even this, what does that blink do for you? Right, you're still in LOS as Zarya, right? Why you could have waited a 1/10 of a second and blinked to this side of the cart where she can't see you, right? Or you could have blinked again into that stairwell, like I said. You could have blinked over here and used all these boxes for cover. You blink onto this side of the payload and
Oh, excuse me.
die for it. Yes, I think I want you to really be thinking about every blink. Don't just reactively just spam it for movement, okay? Because a lot of these blinks can just be achieved by you simply just walking to where you want to go and positioning yourself better that way. The blinks should be used to actively dodge things that are coming your way and to discombobulate the enemy. So like when you're dueling, it's okay to invest all 3 of your blinks in dueling an enemy, especially if you do it to minimize the damage to yourself.
Engaging.
I don't know why your Ana feels the need to. Yeah, there's only
Back to
I
work.
mean, there's 10 seconds, but yeah, like your ball could have touched to trigger OT. Pretty sure.
30 seconds remaining.
I think you needed to stay alive here. If you had stayed alive, I think if you had done a better blink here, like where like instead of blinking from here to here and then here to here, if you had simply like taken a few steps here and then blinked right here as you fell and stuck this, you would have possibly been able to turn the fight.
Bombs away.
Yeah, and then stayed alive here, right? Like if you blink right here, right? There's no one who can actually kill you right now. You wait a couple seconds, get another blink back. You blink over here, get mega, right? Rotate up here, get a better look of what's happening. Be prepared to touch, right? You have 19 seconds. This is quite a bit of time. Where is your ball? Actually, oh, your ball's all over there. What is he doing? Okay, so that's just kind of unfortunate.
10 seconds.
Rana's even trying to heal him with a touch. Your ball touches too early. Okay, so yeah, like I said, there's nothing you can do. You can't control what your other teammates do, right? You can only control what you do. So this is unfortunate because I think, like if your ball had touched at 3 seconds instead of 4.8, you have OT, and I mean, I don't think that makes a difference. I think you still lose anyway. Yeah, but in terms of what you can do, I think there's still room for improvement, right? Any of us can improve, but for Soldier and Tracer, I don't think there's any specific character related advice that you need. There definitely was some map specific advice that you needed, like coming out spawn here. That was a big one. The enemy team did the same thing and gave you a very good opportunity to win, which unfortunately didn't work out. But yeah, like little map specific things like this, like the spawn doors here, these will go a long way in improving your win rate, right? So even just knowing this, and coming out here and not getting staggered gives you an extra 2 fights on B, right? So like, regardless of whether you're good or bad, or your aim is 50% accuracy on McCree or 40 or 60 or whatever, right? Regardless of all that crap, if you get 2 extra fights on B, that's a solid minute off the clock that you're consistently going to be taking. Like even if you lose those 2 fights, like let's say both those fights your team just gets wiped, you still burn a minute off the clock just by existing and losing and like dying, right? If you win either of those fights, then you hold B, right? So that tiny little mistake, that tiny little bit of knowledge about coming out, which door to come out of spawn, actually will change your win rate on Gibraltar and other maps like Hollywood and whatnot. Like those maps, like like a good thing to do is actually keep track of your win rate on each map. My win rate on Gibraltar was like 19% until I started doing this, and now it's like well over. I think it's like 68% last I checked. Yeah, so like, yeah, it's one map, but going from a 19% win rate to a 68% win rate is, how much SR gain is that consistently? Like every time you get this map, instead of basically being guaranteed to lose it, you're now favored to win it 2/3 of the time. That's how you climb. That's how you get better. That's how you climb. So, if you have any other questions about like map specific points where these kinds of things come into play, you feel free to just give me a shout out and ask, because these are very simple things that you can just edit really easily. Like it doesn't really take any, all it takes is just a conscious effort on your part, and it will start changing games. And of course you have to calm this to your teammates as well. So like if you're spawning, if there's like you and like 2 others that spawn in here, then like be like, hey guys, come here, follow me, and then you go out this way, and then that saves you a map win. So Yeah, and then for Tracer, I would definitely work on the 180 blink tech. Whether that's just something you're not really that familiar with yet, or if it's something that's hard because of, like, let's say your mouse sensitivity is a little too low or something. Whatever it is, you gotta start changing. I would highly urge you to change, because that is just such a like a crucial part of playing Tracer that needs to be in every Tracer's kit. That I don't think you can play Tracer without that tech, honestly. Yeah, if you will go watch any pro player or any like high level Tracers stream, you will see them utilize that tech infinitely every single time. They use it as a finisher. Like, it's an excellent finisher, right? It's like, let's say you're dueling an Ana, right? A lot of times, you know, like you shoot off one clip and they're down at, like, you know, like a little bit of health, but you don't have enough. Like, you have to reload before you can finish them. Just do the 180 blink right behind them, smack them, and then finish the kill like that. Yeah, and also comes in very important during Tracer duels, because a lot of the damage in Tracer duels is going to come from blinking onto the Tracer and meleeing them before they can blink away, and just like constantly dogging them and following them, blinking, meleeing onto them for that extra bit of damage. And that can make like, if you do that twice in a duel, it's 60 HP. That's, you know, that's a really significant chunk of Tracer's HP. So doing that, like, even if your accuracy on the Tracer is lower than the enemy Tracers, you will win these Tracer duels consistently just based off of that. So, like, little bits of tech like that. What else? Cooldown usage for Tracer. A lot of the blinks I saw were sort of like not really full distance, like short range blinks that kind of didn't really serve much purpose. You know, like, they weren't really for dodging anything, but at the same time they weren't big enough, like that, like the one I described where you got slept by the Ana, where it's like, from the Ana's perspective, it's like a 15-degree rotation, whereas if you blink behind her, it's 180 degrees. Makes it a lot harder to deal with them, right? So definitely work on utilizing each and every blink to the maximum amount of efficiency. Don't feel like you have to constantly be moving as Tracer in terms of using your blinks to just like be moving. If you watch a lot of high level Tracers, they will actually, like, Shax, I think, is a good example of this. He does this a lot. Is very incorporated into his play. In fact, I mean, I don't have any room to criticize an Overwatch League player, obviously, but I think, like, some Tracers actually do this to the point that it's like, they get a little too predictable. But what they'll do is, like, when they're fighting someone, they just 80 crotch spam, and they stand like, they're basically in the same spot. Like, they play Tracer like a turret, where they don't really move, where they're just like, they blink to one position, 80 crotch spam while shooting, blink to another position behind them, 80 crotch spam while shooting, blink, you know, they just repeatedly do like the 180 blink tech, and they don't really actually move. So, like, you can do that and still be, you know, a top tier Tracer, like an Overwatch League level, 4700 level Tracer. So don't feel like you have to just constantly be like using the blinks for moving around. You can really play Tracer, like, try to be like, yeah, like, try to use every blink like cerebrally, like to dodge a specific you know, cooldown or ability or specific amounts of damage that people are throwing at you. So I hope this helps, and yeah, let me know if you need any more VOD reviews. Good luck in your future games.